Okay, so let's add the additional support edges here for this corner. Let's go back in the top view, and let's go to edge, grab this edge right here, do a ring, and we'll do a connect on that, and let's slide it up here, and we'll match it with the one of the blueprints. Okay to that, and then we'll just select the verts here from this point over to the center. And let's put our edge constraint back on, and we'll just pull these back. Okay, that's probably good. And we'll add the extra one right here in this section as well. And so grab that edge there, another ring, another connect, and we'll leave it maybe right about there, and just adjust the verts. Right, these ones can go up. And we'll pull these ones back a little bit tighter to the corner so it's a little bit more sharp. Right, we also need to run one around this bottom edge. Okay, so let's go into left view, and to do this one, because we can't ring it because of this triangle right here on the corner, let's just use quick slice to slice right through this. Okay, so I'm going to start at the front here, just outside of the model, click, take it all the way to the back, and then click again outside of it, and I'll cut that edge right through for us. Okay, like that. And we need two more right here in this section, so let's unhide all, and we'll line them up with the two we have on the bottom part of the cab there, so it'll have the same hardness on the edges. Alright, so another ring on this edge, and a connect with two segments, no slide, and just pinch those out a little bit. Oops. And I'm just going to move over slightly. That's probably good right there. Okay, let's actually go into vertex here. I'm going to take off the edge constraint, and we're going to grab this section of verts right here on that support edge we added, and we'll just pull these down a bit. Okay, and you can't really see where it's at, but it's probably right about here. Okay, I'm just going to slide these up a little bit more. Okay, so we're pretty much on all the edges here, a little bit off, but that's no big deal. So let's maybe add one more support edge at the back here. Right, so let's do a ring on this edge, and a connect with one segment. And we'll slide that back to about there. Hit OK. And then we'll just move the verts forward a little bit. Okay, good enough. Let's toss on a symmetry on the Z, and we'll see how that looks. Let's straighten this front out a little bit more. Okay, that's probably good enough. So let's maybe collapse the symmetry down, so we'll just convert back to editable poly. I just want to check to make sure that those center verts are welded here in the center. And they are. Okay, so we're going to need to get some polygons on the inside of this piece so it doesn't just have normals facing one way. Alright, so we'll just put on a shell. Okay, and let's take off the outer mount by right-clicking the spinner. Take the inner mount up a bit. And we don't need to be super thick. Let's maybe do like 6 maybe. And you can see the corner there is a little bit whacked out, so we'll go down and check straighten corner, and I'll attempt to fix it. Okay, I think that's probably thick enough. Alright, let's put on Turbo Smooth, 2 iterations, and Ice Line. Let's see if that looks okay. Okay, that's probably good. Let's delete the Turbo Smooth and collapse the shell. And then we'll go in here on the back edge and ring one of these. And we'll add a couple of sport edges here just to sharpen it up a little bit. Let's do 2 and pinch them out slightly, maybe about 35 or so. Okay, and then we'll put the Turbo Smooth back on with 2 iterations. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any artifacts, which is good. Let's maybe put the Turbo Smooth back on here and just see if they match up okay. Okay, and I think we're going to need to sharpen up the top edge of the cab a little bit more. Let's maybe do that. Alright, so let's hide this piece. And let's maybe move this side edge up. Right, so let's go back down to edge. Grab this edge here, do a loop. Make sure you have the edge constraint on, and we'll move that up a little bit closer to the top. And see if that sharpens it up for us. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, so unhide all. And I think it matches up pretty good. We don't want it to be too sharp or too realistic. We want it to have somewhat of a cartoon look, a little bit anyways. Okay, so I think that'll take care of that part for now. Okay, and let's maybe just close up these loops in the door. That's just bugging me. Alright, so we're going to hide unselected here for a second. Take it off the Turbo Smooth, and we'll just connect these loops up to the top. Okay, so let's go back down to edge, and we'll just select these edges here, do a connect. Let's do 2 segments, no slide, and we'll just maybe do them right in the center. Okay, and let's maybe do a chamfer on those, just to break them apart. And then we can go into left view here and just connect this up. Alright, so I'm just going to connect each of these up to the top, just so we have quads. Okay, and it's not exactly awesome topology, but it's okay. Let's leave it like that. It's not going to affect anything. And we also missed the connect here with this edge. So I'm just going to grab these ones, add an edge loop in there, I'll slide it over here a little bit, and we'll just connect this one up to it. Okay, something like that. And it'll look a little bit better. Okay, so let's maybe throw on the front fenders here. Just going to go back into left view. And we'll just do these out of maybe a cylinder. Okay, so let's grab one here, draw that out, And we'll make it pretty big. Let's get a little bit of width. Okay, let's add maybe a cap segment to this. We'll take off the height segments, and let's up the sides. Let's do maybe like 30 on the sides. Okay, we'll just match that up with the blueprint. Okay, something like that should be good. We'll also move it out in the top view. Right about there. Let's convert it to a poly. And we can get rid of most of this. So let's go into polygon here. I'm just going to switch my selection type to paint. And we'll just, let's just grab a bunch of these here. Delete those out. And we'll also delete out some of these here. Right up to this point. And let's take these ones up a bit as well. Maybe just like that. Okay, we'll delete those so we just have the outer polygons. Okay, we'll throw our material on there. And we'll just shape this out in the left view by vertex. Alright, so switch this back to a rectangle. And we'll just move a couple of these around to better follow the blueprint. Alright, those ones look pretty good there. Move these ones out just a bit. Okay, and let's go into edge, and we'll grab this back edge here, and we'll hold down shift with this to extrude it down. Okay, so I'm going to pretty much bring it down and line up with each segment here on the blueprints. Okay, and we can pretty much come straight down here, just like that. Okay, and let's also make it a little bit wider. Alright, so we'll push this right into the hood part. Okay, let's actually maybe hide this section for now. And we'll put a shell on here. Okay, we'll take off the outer mount and we'll up the inner mount until we match it up with the blueprint. Let's do about 24. And convert it to a poly. Let's go into the back view. And we'll just make sure everything's lining up properly. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go into edge. Grab one of these edges here, do a ring, and a connect, and we'll just do one segment. And we'll smooth that over in the top view so we can line it up with this edge here. Okay, like that. We don't need to add any on the inside because we're going to delete these inside polygons, which we can do now. Alright, so grab those, deselect these ones, and we'll delete those out. And we need to add a couple of loops around here to hold the shape. So grab this corner edge, do a ring, and connect it up with two segments. And we'll pinch those out a little bit. About 50 or so should be good. Okay. And on the front here, we want this to be kind of flattened out here. Alright, so we're going to need to cut it off. And the easiest way to do that is just to grab the end verts and just yank them down a bit. Okay, and we can either do a connect here to get a segment, or we can just quick slice it. Alright, so let's go down to quick slice, and we'll just cut it here, right across. Okay, and that'll also add a cut over on this other side here. Right here. So we'll loop this edge and control backspace it out. Okay, like that. And then we'll just delete out these end polygons. Okay, so let's close this up. Go to edge, grab the two top edges, and then we'll grab the two inner edges here and hit bridge. And let's also select this edge here, do a ring, and we'll just continue these support edges around to the inside. So let's do another connect, and we'll leave that at the same settings, and we'll just weld these verts up right here. Alright, so this should be two on top of each other. So let's weld and grab these two and weld. Okay, just like that. And we'll go back to left view here, and we'll just give it another slice to get a support edge in there. Alright, so back to quick slice, just cut it across, and go over here and take out that extra loop. Okay, and we also need one down at the bottom here. So we can use, maybe just connect on this one. Alright, so let's add one segment, and we'll just slide that down to the bottom and line it up. About 60 or so should be good. Okay, so that should take care of the fender, and we'll put a turbo smooth on here and just see how it looks. Let's do 2 and isoline. And I think that looks fine. We might want to move the support edge out a little bit to sharpen it up, so let's go back into edge. Let's turn edge on here with F4, we'll do a loop on this edge, and we'll just pull it a little bit more to the outside. Okay, that should sharpen it up for us. Okay, that's good. Let's unhide all. And we could chop this off on the inside here, kind of on an angle, but I think I'll just leave it. You're never going to be able to see in here anyway, so it's probably not worth the effort of cutting that off. Alright, so let's maybe flip it over and clone it onto the other side, and we'll do that in the top view. Alright, let's go into the hierarchy tab, hit effect pivot only, we'll center the pivot point, and with that still active, we'll go down and right click the spinner here on the x-axis to zero it out to the center. Turn off the button there, and we'll do a mirror, copy on the X, and OK, and that'll give us our fender on the other side. Okay, so let's grab the body here. I'm just going to hide everything else. Whoops, hide unselect it. And I think we'll just get this little side window in right now. Okay, so let's go into left view again. And let's go to wireframe F3. And we'll just do this out of maybe a rectangle. So I'm going to go over to the shapes panel, grab a rectangle, and we'll just draw this out. Okay, and we just want it to be pretty much the size of the opening here. Something like that. And let's see. Maybe just make sure that it's centered. Let's also check off enable and render, enable and viewport here so it's renderable. We'll make this a rectangle instead of radial. And let's just also move it over in the top view. Drag that over. And we'll just put it in our hole here. Alright, let's take up maybe the width. Let's do maybe about 6 on that. And we'll just play with the size here a little bit. Let's also take up the corner radius, and that'll roll that out a bit for us. Let's do maybe about 20. And we'll just play with the size here a little bit more. Let's take the length down a bit. We want it to fit in the window. Let's do maybe 195 on that. And for the width, we can bring that down a bit as well, maybe about 90 or so. Okay, and just even it out. And you can see the corners don't match up perfectly, but that's okay. It's close enough. Alright, so we'll just jam it in there with something like that. And we'll see how thick it is here. Let's also throw our material on it. Okay, I'm just going to push that back a bit. Okay, something like that should be good. And when we have it where we want it, we'll just convert it to double poly. Let's go around the back here, and we don't really need to have the back or the outside polygons. Alright, so I'll grab this edge and this edge, do a ring, control click polygon, and delete. And we'll just chamfer this edge down. Alright, so back in the edge, grab this one, loop it, and let's just roll it over. Let's do maybe about 0.75 or so. Hit OK to that, and we'll just give it a double chamfer. Alright, just to smooth it out a little bit more. Okay, I think that should work fine. Let's also maybe put a plane in the background here for the glass. And I'm just going to do that out of a normal plane. Alright, so just slightly bigger than our opening. And we don't need these segments, we'll take those off, and we'll just kind of center it. Let's take it down a little bit in size. Okay, so just big enough to cover the hole. And we'll move that over as well in the top view. Alright, just park it right behind there, slightly intersecting. And that should work fine. Okay, so we can clone that one over onto the other side now. Let's just grab the glass as well as the frame piece here. And we'll do a group on that. Just call it window. And we'll just mirror it over. Okay, so back into the hard tab, effect mode only, we'll center it, and we'll zero out the x-axis. Okay, turn off the button and mirror. Same thing as before, copy on the x. Okay, now I'll put it over here, we'll just check to make sure it's lined up properly. And that looks fine.